Evan Cross had worked as a janitor at the Horizon Research Academy for 7 years, and in all that time, no one had ever really noticed him. He liked it that way. He preferred quiet hallways, empty classrooms, and the soft hum of lights that never changed brightness. The academy was a place of science, technology, and strange experiments he was never allowed to ask about. Evan simply cleaned, swept, fixed small things, and kept to himself. But everything changed on a cold Tuesday morning, when a student named Myra stepped into his life for only 3 seconds, and those 3 seconds destroyed everything he had. Evan was mopping the hall near the east wing. The air smelled like floor cleaner and machine oil. Students were switching classes, walking fast, talking loudly. He moved aside to let them pass. He always tried to stay out of the way. But then Myra ran across the corner without looking. She bumped into Evan so hard the mop fell from his hands. Before he could react, his hand touched her arm, and instantly, he felt something no human should ever feel. Her skin pulsed with a strange heat, not warm like normal skin, but sharp, almost electric. Her heartbeat did not beat in a normal rhythm. It moved in a pattern, a strange rising and falling pulse, almost like a coded message, and there was something else inside her, something shifting, something alive that was not entirely human. Evan jerked his hand back, his eyes widened, a cold shiver ran down his spine. Myra stared at him, confused and scared. For a moment, they both stood still, then Myra let out a loud scream. People around them panicked. Teachers rushed forward. Security guards appeared from nowhere. Students pulled out their phones, filming and whispering. The whole hallway froze into chaos. "What did you do to her?" a teacher shouted. Nothing. She bumped into me," Evan tried to explain, but his voice felt small and powerless. Myra kept shaking, not because she was hurt, but because her body remembered something it was trying to hide. But no one saw that. They only saw a middle-aged janitor touching a scared student. Security grabbed Evan by the arms, pulling him back as if he were dangerous. Evan tried to resist only to speak. "Listen, something is wrong with her," he said. "Her body, there's something strange happening inside her." "Stop talking," one guard snapped. "You're in enough trouble already." Evan looked at Myra. Her skin still glowed faintly, so faintly that only he seemed to notice it, like a soft golden shimmer under her arm. But when she saw him looking, she pulled her sleeve down quickly, afraid, confused, hiding something she did not understand herself. Within 20 minutes, Evan was taken to the administrator's office. They didn't let him explain. They didn't let him defend himself. They did not ask for details. They simply repeated the same cold words. Inappropriate contact with a student, 0 tolerance, immediate termination, pack your things, leave the academy grounds today. Evan felt the room spin. He had worked there for years. He had done nothing wrong. But their faces were made of stone. They had already decided he was guilty. He could see the disgust in their eyes, the judgment, the fear. Not one person asked Myra what she had felt. Not one person checked her unusual skin temperature. Not one person listened to Evan when he said she needed medical help, not punishment. As Evan walked out of the office, the hallway felt colder than before. His hands still tingled from the moment he touched her. The strange pulse he felt still echoed in his palm. It was not normal. It was not human. It was something else, something hidden deep under her skin. He reached the main doors of the academy and stopped. He turned back and looked at the tall metal building he had cleaned for half his life. The silence around him felt heavy, thick with secrets he was never allowed to know. But now, those secrets had touched him, literally. Outside, the wind was sharp. Evan stood on the steps and whispered to himself, "That girl, she's not sick." He closed his eyes, remembering the electric pulse, the coded heartbeat, the shifting energy beneath her skin. She's changing, and nobody sees it. He walked down the stairs, feeling like the world had tilted into something unfamiliar. The academy believed they had gotten rid of a problem, but Evan knew the truth. The real problem was still inside that building, walking its halls, hiding a secret even she didn't understand. Myra was not just a student. She was a signal, a warning, a beginning of something far bigger than any of them realized. And Evan was the only one who had felt it. The only one who sensed the coming storm. The only one who understood that what happened in that hallway was no accident. It was the first step of something extraordinary, and something dangerous. The incident was over, but the mystery had just begun. Evan Cross sat alone in his small apartment that night, staring at his hands as if they belonged to someone else. The city lights outside the window flickered in strange patterns, but he could not focus on anything except the memory of Myra's skin, the heat, the pulse, the hidden movement inside her body. It had felt alive in a way no human body ever should. He rubbed his palm again and again, but the tingling never stopped. It was like electricity lived inside his skin now. Every few minutes, a soft vibration ran down his fingers, almost like a heartbeat that did not belong to him. He tried to ignore it, but the sensation kept spreading, moving from his palm to his wrist, then to his elbow, until his whole arm felt different. "Maybe I'm losing my mind," Evan whispered to himself, but even his voice sounded unsure. At midnight, he finally tried to sleep, but the moment he closed his eyes, he saw flashes of light behind his eyelids. He saw Myra's glowing skin, faint golden patterns forming under her arm. He saw a shape, something like a swirling energy, moving inside her, and then he felt something else inside himself, something waking up, something he never asked for. When he finally fell asleep, he dreamed of stars, collapsing in silence, and a strange humming sound that echoed like a message he could not understand. The next morning, he awoke with a sudden jolt. His heart raced, not with fear, but with a strange sense that he was not alone in his own mind anymore. He sat up, breathing deeply, then something happened that made him freeze. His neighbor, Mr. Rowan, was standing outside Evan's apartment door, coughing hard. Evan didn't touch him, didn't even get close, but somehow, when he looked at the man's chest, he felt it. The tightness, the slow air movement, the sharp pain inside Mr. Rowan's lungs. It was like Evan could sense it from a distance. "What is happening to me?" Evan whispered, stepping back. He knew things he shouldn't know, he felt things he shouldn't feel. When he touched Myra, something had awakened inside him, something that changed him forever. Meanwhile, inside the Horizon Research Academy, Myra sat on a medical bed, hugging her knees. The staff told her she was only here for a checkup, but she had lived at the academy long enough to know when adults were lying. They moved quickly, whispered behind thick glass windows, and avoided eye contact with her. They were scared, not of her scream, not of the incident, but of the energy inside her. Machines around her flickered whenever she got too nervous. Screen monitors glitched every time her heart raced. She felt a heavy pressure behind her ribs, like something big was trying to push its way out. Sometimes she heard faint whispers, like distant voices calling her name, but she never understood the words. She remembered the moment Evan touched her. The shock she felt inside wasn't fear, it was recognition, as if something in her had responded to him. She did not know why, but she knew Evan wasn't wrong. She was changing, and the academy was hiding the truth from everyone, including her. Later that day, Evan sat on a park bench near the academy, watching people walk by. He felt their emotions in waves: stress, anger, sadness, joy. He sensed tiny details about their bodies too. One man walked past holding his chest, and Evan knew instantly his heart rhythm was irregular. A woman laughed nearby, but Evan could feel the heavy depression hiding under her smile. He pressed his hands against his head, trying to block the sensations, but they kept coming, stronger every minute. His ability wasn't just growing, it was evolving. He could now sense changes in people without touching them. Something inside him was mapping the hidden patterns of human energy. At that same moment inside the academy, Myra's eyes flashed with golden light again. The machines around her shut down. A doctor rushed in and froze, staring at her as if she were a bomb about to explode. Myra grabbed the edge of the bed, panicking, because the whispers in her mind grew louder, clearer, calling her from somewhere far beyond Earth. That evening, as the sky darkened, Evan felt a sudden pull in his chest, like someone calling him. He looked toward the academy, even though it was miles away, and the tingling in his hand returned, but stronger, sharper, almost painful. He knew that feeling. It was Myra, her energy, her fear. Something inside her was reaching out to him. Something inside him was answering. And he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He had to go back. He didn't know how. He didn't know why. But he knew Myra was in danger. And whatever had awakened in her was now awakening in him too. The ability he never wanted had become the one thing he could not escape. And the real story was only just beginning. Evan moved through the evening streets with a strange heaviness in his chest. Every step felt guided by an invisible thread that pulled him toward the Horizon Research Academy. He did not understand the feeling, but he knew it came from Myra. Her energy was reaching out to him like a silent cry for help. His palm buzzed again. A sharp electric pulse shot through his arm. He winced, pressing his hand against his coat. "Myra," he whispered, because somehow he knew she was afraid. He could almost feel her heartbeat from miles away, like their bodies were connected by some hidden force. At the academy, Myra sat alone in a dim room surrounded by silent machines. She kept her knees close to her chest, her breathing sharp and uneven. The doctors had grown too scared to stay near her. They watched her through glass panels, whispering about energy surges and uncontrolled activation, but none of them dared to step inside the room. Myra stared at her hands. They glowed again, soft golden lines moving under her skin like tiny rivers of light. She tried covering them, but the glow pushed through her fingers. She didn't understand what she was becoming. She didn't want to be an experiment, a creature, a danger. She only wanted answers. Then she heard it, an echo inside her mind, not words, but a feeling, a familiar presence. Evan. Her eyes widened. She had sensed him the same way he sensed her. Something inside them responded to each other, linked by the accident neither of them understood. Meanwhile, Evan reached the academy fence. He stayed hidden behind bushes, watching security drones circle above. This place was no longer the peaceful building he used to clean. It looked like a fortress hiding a secret too dark for the public to see. His hand tingled again, and suddenly, he saw something strange. Shadows moving behind the walls, not with his eyes, but inside his mind. He could feel where guards were walking, which hallways were empty, which doors were locked. His ability had grown again, turning into something like a radar, showing him danger without needing to see it. Whatever is happening to me, it started with her, Evan whispered, and it's not stopping. He moved quietly along the fence until he found an old service gate he used to clean years ago. The lock was rusted, weak, a small push made it snap open. Evan slipped inside, staying close to the walls, letting his strange sense guide him away from guards and cameras. Inside the academy, Myra trembled as another surge of energy rushed through her veins. The machines around her flickered, lights blinking on and off like confused fireflies. The doctors stepped back nervously, one of them whispering, "She's destabilizing." Myra covered her ears, not because of the machines, but because the whispers in her mind had returned, loud this time. She heard voices calling her from somewhere far beyond Earth, voices that felt powerful and ancient. They spoke in a language she did not know, yet somehow understood through emotion, not words. They were calling her name. They were calling her home. Just then, the door to her room clicked. Myra tensed, thinking it was another doctor, but the door opened slowly, and Evan stepped in, breathless, scared, but determined. Her eyes filled with relief. "You came," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I felt you needed help," Evan said, walking toward her carefully. "Your energy."
Ikan sensei te.
Myra stared at him with fear and hope mixed together. "Something is happening inside me," she said softly. "I don't know what I am anymore." Evan knelt beside her, his hand hovered near her arm but did not touch her. "When I touched you, something changed in me too," he said. "I feel things I shouldn't feel, I see patterns in people's bodies, I sense danger before it happens." Myra swallowed hard. "So I'm not the only one." Evan shook his head. "No, whatever is awakening in you, it awakened something in me too." Before they could speak more, Myra's body jerked with another burst of light. The floor vibrated, alarms rang outside the room. Evan grabbed her shoulders gently. "Look at me," he said, his voice calm but strong. "I'm here, you're not alone." Myra focused on his face, and the chaos inside her slowed. The golden glow dimmed, the air grew still, and the whispers faded into silence. It was as if Evan's presence grounded her, stabilizing the storm inside her blood. Suddenly, Evan's mind filled with a vision. Bright stars collapsing, swirling galaxies, and a group of tall, luminous figures reaching out toward Myra. Their hands were made of light, their bodies gentle and calm. They were not enemies, they were connected to her. Evan gasped, pulling his hand back. "Myra," he whispered, "you're not sick." She nodded slowly. "I know." "You're a signal," Evan said, still breathing hard. "Someone, something, is calling you." Myra's voice trembled. "And whatever is calling me, it's getting closer." Evan helped her stand. "Then we need to leave before the academy tries to control you again." Footsteps pounded the hallway. Security was coming. Doors locked, alarms screamed, red lights flashed across the ceiling. Evan looked around quickly, his senses showing him the safest path. "Follow me," he said. "We don't have much time." Myra grabbed his arm, trusting him completely. Her energy pulsed again. But this time, Evan didn't pull away. The connection between them grew stronger, stranger, deeper. Together, they ran into the dark hallway, unaware that what waited beyond the academy was far more dangerous than the people chasing them. The truth beneath Myra's skin was only the beginning. Evan and Myra ran through the dark hallway as alarms echoed through the academy. The red emergency lights blinked in sharp flashes, painting their shadows across the walls. It felt like the whole building was waking up like a giant machine ready to swallow them. Evan's new sense vibrated inside his head, warning him of danger before it appeared. "Left," he whispered, pulling Myra just seconds before two armed guards turned the corner. His ability felt stronger now. He did not see the guards, but he felt their heartbeats, their fast breathing, their heavy boots slamming against the floor. His body reacted before his mind did. Myra clutched his arm tightly. Her skin glowed with soft golden pulses that matched her heartbeat. She tried to hide the glow, but it only grew brighter as her fear increased. Every flicker of light from her body made the overhead lights glitch and flicker like broken stars. "They're hunting us," Myra whispered, her voice shaking. "They think you're dangerous," Evan replied, "and they think I know too much." "But I don't want to hurt anyone," she said, her breath trembling. "I know," Evan said. "That's why we have to get out before they force you to become something they can control." They moved deeper into the academy, heading toward the maintenance tunnels Evan used to clean months ago. Every corner felt like a trap, every sound felt like a warning. His senses were overloaded with information. He could feel the metallic pulse of security drones in the walls. He sensed the energy of surveillance cameras turning toward them. He grabbed Myra's hand again. "Stay close," he said, "and don't stop no matter what happens." Myra nodded, trying to stay brave even as her body felt like it was tearing itself apart from the inside. A loud mechanical click echoed suddenly. Evan froze. A drone descended from the ceiling ahead of them, dark and massive, its camera eye glowed red, scanning the hallway like a hungry predator. Myra gasped, stepping back. Evan felt the drone's energy ripple. It was preparing to fire a stun shot. "Get down," Evan whispered sharply, pulling Myra behind a row of metal lockers just as a burst of blue electricity shot across the hallway. The blast hit the wall, burning a black hole in the panel. Myra covered her ears as the sound echoed through her bones. The drone hovered closer, searching for movement. Evan closed his eyes, focusing, trying to sense the machine's pattern. He could feel its mechanical rhythm, the way its sensors moved, the timing of its next shot. He whispered, "When I say run, run." Myra nodded again, her heartbeat racing like a drum inside her chest. The drone rotated. Evan sensed the pause before it scanned again. "Run," he said, and they sprinted across the hallway, the blue shot missing them by inches. They reached a staircase leading down into the old tunnels. Evan pushed open the door, and they rushed inside just as the drone fired again. The door slammed shut behind them, shaking from the impact. Inside the tunnel, everything was darker, quieter, and colder. The air smelled like dust and old wires. Echoes of dripping water made the place feel abandoned, perfect for hiding. Myra leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Her body shook from the energy trapped inside her. "Evan, I can't control it much longer," she whispered. "You're doing great," Evan said softly, trying to calm her. "Just breathe." But Myra felt something else growing inside her, not just energy, but memory. She saw flashes, stars floating like dust, tall glowing figures watching her, a cold metal room where she was born, not in a hospital, but in a laboratory. She squeezed her eyes shut, overwhelmed. "What's happening to me?" she whispered, her voice cracking. Evan touched her shoulder carefully, and instantly, his mind filled with her memories, not clearly, but in fragments. He saw pieces of her past, like a broken mirror showing another world. He gasped, pulling his hand back. "Myra, they made you." She nodded slowly, tears forming in her eyes. "I know." "They didn't just make you," he said, breathing fast. "They activated something inside you, something not human." Myra hugged herself, shaking. "I keep hearing voices calling me," she whispered. "They feel familiar." Evan looked toward the stairs where distant footsteps echoed through the upper levels. The academy wasn't giving up. They were sending more guards, more drones. They wanted Myra like a rare weapon, and they wanted Evan gone. He grabbed Myra's hand again. "We need to keep moving." "Where will we go?" she asked, her voice small. "Anywhere that isn't here," Evan replied. "But there's something you need to understand." She looked at him, waiting. "Your power isn't random," Evan said. "You're not a mistake." Myra's eyes filled with fear and hope. "You're a signal," he whispered, "and whatever is calling you is coming closer." The ground above them vibrated, not from footsteps, but from something else, something bigger, something approaching from the sky. Myra grabbed Evan's arm. "Do you feel that?" Evan nodded slowly. "Yes, and it's not human." The hunt was no longer just the academy chasing them. Something far beyond Earth had entered the game. And both Evan and Myra were standing at the center of a storm neither of them understood yet. Deep underground, the old maintenance tunnels shook softly, as if something huge moved above the surface. Evan and Myra felt the vibration travel through the concrete walls, through the metal pipes, through the air itself. It was not footsteps, not machines, not drones. It was something else, something heavier and older. Myra's body reacted first. Her skin glowed brighter, golden veins twisting under her arms and neck like living lines of light. She held her chest, trying to breathe, but the air seemed too thin, too sharp. The whispers in her mind grew louder again, now more urgent, filled with emotion she could not name.
"They are here," she whispered, trembling. "Who's here?"
Evan asked, though deep down he feared he already knew. "The ones calling me," Myra said softly. "They're close, very close." Before Evan could respond, the tunnel lights flickered and then exploded with bright sparks. Darkness swallowed the space, leaving only Myra's golden glow to push back the shadows. Above them, the academy alarms changed tone. The usual siren was replaced with a deep warning hum that vibrated like a distant engine ready to break apart. Evan listened, heart pounding. "That's not for us," he said quietly. "That's for something bigger." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the building. Dust rained from the ceiling. Pipes rattled violently. Myra grabbed Evan's arm, her voice shaking like a child's. "Evan, I'm scared." "I know," he said gently, "but whatever is happening, we face it together." He didn't know how he could help her. He wasn't a soldier, or a scientist, or a hero. He was a janitor with a strange new ability he never wanted. But somehow, standing beside Myra, he felt braver than he ever had in his life. A loud metallic roar echoed from the far end of the tunnel. Evan felt its mechanical heartbeat immediately. It was another drone, but bigger, heavier, stronger. Its robotic steps thudded like falling stones as it entered the tunnel, searching for them, scanning with red laser eyes. "It's blocking the only exit," Evan whispered. "And it won't stop," Myra said. "They want me, alive." The drone moved closer, aiming its weapon arm straight at them. Myra backed against the wall, her glow flickering like a dying flame. "I can't fight it," she whispered. "I'll lose control. I'll explode." Evan stepped in front of her without thinking. His heart hammered in his chest, but he raised his hand slowly. He felt the drone's pulse again. Mechanical, cold, predictable. And then something inside Evan shifted. A spark, a pulse, a surge. His senses sharpened beyond anything he had felt before. He didn't just feel the drone's energy. He understood it. He saw its weak points, its timing, its rhythm. As if its entire design had been printed inside his mind. The drone fired a blast of blue energy. Evan moved Myra behind him. Instinct took over. He raised his hand, and the energy hit his palm. But instead of burning him, it spread across his skin like warm water. Then vanished, absorbed into his body. The drone froze, confused, its sensors blinking rapidly. Evan stared at his hand in shock. He had absorbed the attack. How did I do that?" he whispered. Myra's eyes filled with wonder and fear. "Because my energy woke yours," she said. "We are connected now." The drone prepared a second shot. But Myra stepped forward, her glow rising again. "I can stop it," she whispered, "but it will drain me." "No," Evan said quickly. "We do it together." He placed his hand gently on her arm. Their energies connected instantly. A bright golden blue surge flowed between them. The tunnel filled with warm light. The drone fired again, but the blast hit a powerful energy wave that pushed outward from both of them. The drone short-circuited, sparks flying, metal cracking. It collapsed to the floor, defeated. Myra fell to her knees, breathing hard. Evan held her gently. "Myra, stay with me." But Myra wasn't weak. She felt something awakening deeper inside her. Not fear, not pain, but memory. Clear memory. She looked up toward the ceiling as another vibration shook the academy. But this one was not from drones or guards. It was from the sky itself. "They are here," she whispered again, voice shaking. "My creators, my family." Evan helped her stand. Through a crack in the ceiling, a beam of soft golden light shone down. The dust swirled upward like it was being pulled toward the sky. Myra stepped into the light, and instantly her glow matched the beam's color. Outside, unseen from the tunnel, giant shapes moved above the clouds. Silent, bright, ancient. Ships made of pure light. Not enemies, but protectors. Evan felt a wave of calm wash through him. Myra looked at him, tears in her glowing eyes. "You saved me," she whispered, "and because of that, humanity will not be ignored anymore." Evan shook his head. "I didn't save you," he said softly. "You saved me, and now the whole world will change." Because humans had done something no alien expected. They adapted. They evolved. They reached back when the universe called. Myra stepped forward as the beam of light grew stronger. She held out her hand toward Evan. "Come with me," she whispered. "This is only the beginning." Evan took her hand, feeling their energies merge again. Bright, warm, unstoppable. Together, they rose into the golden light. As the alien ships above welcomed them with silent, ancient power, the world would soon learn the truth. Humans were far stronger than anyone believed. And this was the moment everything changed. The incident was never an accident. It was destiny.